Hi there, and welcome to Wednesday, January 8th, 2025, for our daily reading of the Bible in 2025. We're going to be reading the entire Bible in 1 year, in about 7 minutes a day, using the Day by Day Kids Bible, written by Karyn Henley. For those of you who may not yet be familiar, this is a chronological Bible, and it's also written in storybook form. And if you are keeping track with your daily calendar, I have put my sticker on for Wednesday the 8th. And if you would like to contribute to the event with a membership, then I would be happy to send you a copy of the calendar, which is printed on sugarcane paper, as well as a set of stickers for the month to help you keep track of your daily commitment. It is completely optional. I do have the calendar available for download for free on my website, and I will have the link for that in the description below. So let's get started with our daily reading. And here we are. We're going to pick up on Genesis 23, and we will be reading about the cave. Abraham and Sarah went to Hebron in the land of Canaan. And while they were there, Sarah died. Abraham cried. Then he went to the people of that land and said, "I'm a stranger here. Sell me some land. I need a place to lay my wife's body." The people said, "You can put her body in any of our caves. Choose the best one." Abraham bowed. He said that he wanted to buy the cave in one of the fields. The man who owned it said, "I'll give you the field and the cave." And Abraham bowed down again. "I'll pay whatever it costs. Take the money. I'll put my wife's body there." "The land costs 400 pieces of silver," said the man. So Abraham counted out the money, and he bought the field and the cave. He bought all the trees in the field, and then he put Sarah's body in the cave. Looking for a wife. Genesis 24 and 25. Abraham was old, and God had given him all kinds of good things. One day, Abraham called his best servant to him. Abraham said, "Make me a promise. Promise you'll find a wife for Isaac. But she should not be from this land. Go back to the land I came from and get a wife for Isaac from my family in that land." "Well, what if she doesn't want to come?" asked the servant. "Should I take Isaac to the other land to live?" "No," said Abraham. "God will send his angel ahead of you, and he will help you get a wife for Isaac. But if she doesn't want to come, don't make her. Just don't take Isaac to that land." So the servant promised. Then he took 10 camels. He took all kinds of good gifts, and he left on his trip. After many days, the servant stopped at a well. It was almost evening, and he made his camel sit down. It was almost time for women to come get water. The servant prayed. "God," he said, "be kind to Abraham. I'm standing by the well. The women are coming to get water here. I'll speak to one of the girls. I'll ask her to get me some water with her jar. Show me the one you choose, God. Have her give me a drink, and have her say that she will give my camels water too. Then I'll know you want her to be Isaac's wife. And I'll know you're being kind to Isaac's father, Abraham." Before the servant stopped praying, Rebekah came to the well. She was beautiful. She held her jar on her shoulders, and she filled her jar with water. The servant quickly went over to her. "Please, get me a drink of water from your jar." "Have a drink," said Rebekah. She took her jar down from her shoulder, and she gave him a drink. Then she said, "I'll give your camels some water too." She gave the rest of her water to the camels, then she ran to the well again for more water. She got enough water for all of the servant's camels. The servant watched Rebecca carefully. He wanted to make sure God had chosen her. The camels drank their water, and then the servant gave Rebecca a gold ring. He gave her 2 gold armbands. "Who is your father?" he asked her. "Nahor's son," said Rebecca. And now the servant knew that Nahor was Abraham's brother. "And is there room at your house for us?" he asked. "Could we spend the night?" "Yes," said Rebecca. "There's plenty of food for your camels, and there's room for you to stay with us." The servant bowed down. He worshiped God. "Praise God," he said. "He has led me to Abraham's family." Rebecca ran home and she told them what had happened. Rebecca had a brother named Laban. He heard Rebecca's story, and he saw the ring and the armbands. So he went to go find the servant. Laban found him standing by his camels at the well. "Come with me," said Laban. "I made a place for you at our house." So the servant went home with Laban. He took the packs off the camels, he fed them and gave them water, and then he and his men washed up. Then it was time for dinner. Food was ready for them. But the servant said, "I can't eat yet. I have to tell you something." "Tell us," said Laban. "I am Abraham's servant," he said. "And God made Abraham rich with sheep and cows. He is rich with silver and gold. He has servants and camels and donkeys. Abraham also has a son, and he has given his son everything he has." The servant told Rebekah's family about his promise to Abraham, and he told them how he had prayed by the well. He told them how Rebekah came to the well and how she had given him and his camels a drink. "Now tell me," said the servant, "may Rebekah come home with me?" "God made this happen," said Rebekah's father. "So take Rebekah with you." The servant bowed to God. Then he gave gold and silver dishes to Rebekah. He gave clothes to her. He gave gifts to Rebekah's brother and to her mother, too. Then the servant and his men ate dinner, and they stayed there for the night. The next morning, the servant said, "We must go. We have to get back to Abraham now." But Rebekah's brother and mother did not want them to go. "Let Rebekah stay here for 10 days, they said. "Then she can go with you." "Don't make us stay here," said the servant. "I have done what I promised Abraham, and now I need to go back to him." "Let's ask Rebekah what she wants to do," her family said. So they asked her. "I'll go now," said Rebekah. So they let Rebekah go with the servant. Rebekah and her maids got on their camels and they rode off with the servant. One evening, Isaac was out in the field. He was thinking. He looked up and he saw camels coming his way. So he went out to meet them. Rebekah looked up too. She saw Isaac and she got down from her camel. She said to the servant, "Who is that man?" "That's Isaac," said the servant. And then Rebekah covered her face with a thin cloth. The servant told Isaac what had happened. Isaac married Rebekah. He loved her. After Sarah died, Abraham married a woman named Keturah, and they had lots and lots of children. And Abraham gave gifts to his children as they grew up. Then he sent them away to live in the east. He wanted them to live away from Isaac. Abraham saved everything else he owned to give to Isaac. Abraham lived to be 175 years old. And when he died, Isaac and Ishmael put his body in a cave. It was the same cave where Sarah's body was. And that's the end of our reading today for January 8th. Isn't it wonderful to see how God provided for Isaac and for Abraham when Abraham sent his servant to go get a wife for Isaac? And the servant prayed to God, he was wise to do so, and asked God to show him what he was going to do and who he wanted Isaac to marry. And we can do that too. If we need to know God's guidance, it's always best to ask God's guidance and not to be afraid to ask him to show us what he wants to do and let his will be done, just like how Jesus prayed. And immediately before he'd even finished praying, there comes Rebecca. God was so good to answer the servant's prayer so quickly. And then her family let her go, and she went right away, and Isaac loved her. And we see how Abraham saved his estate and everything to give to Isaac, but he did give gifts to his other children as well. But his inheritance was to go to Isaac, because that is the son that God indicated everything was supposed to go to. And once again, Abraham obeyed him. Well, that's all we have for today's story. Thank you for joining me. If you are watching via YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the like button. If you are participating in the monthly perfect attendance, then please make a comment on the video as well. Let me know that you've watched the video. And at the end of the month, we will have a winner from our YouTube channel. That's all we have, so thank you very much. Have a great day.